I've been muted this whole time. That's fine. Everything is spoilers anyways. So I'm just going to be speaking my mind out this whole time. So the attribute here is air. And right now this is the only one we're currently rolling for. But notice this costs 101% when it comes to points. Which, for card generation, it can't afford that. I need this entire logic right here. To then also check, because it's just checking for one ability. In this case, it's adding a keyword. This keyword is whichever one number 1 is, because if I remove this, there's no longer anything for it to work with. So it'll just say NA. right there, which is fine. But each card will have a certain number of points that I can spend for everything, and if... Also, everything you're seeing here is subject to change, because we're very much still in the design aspect of everything. So we'll see how that goes. But we're just gonna reroll cards. Boom. This card here has 8 attributes of air. What I first need it to do is, so it has 79 points worth of stuff to spend, and without any other modifications, adding the flying keyword to this card is going to cost, we're going to be rounding this up, 80 points, which we can't spend because we don't have 80 points. However, since this has 8 pips of air, I want the ability to essentially cost that many less points when it that much less when it comes to what words am I looking for? It's going to cost less depending. So if we do, just move these to the side. Just one. Oops. Which is fine. So equals, like, we're spouting out numbers. Again, everything here is subject to change. 5 plus that. And autofill, yes, please. Oh, it did not. So it's never going to make an ability like 100% free. Like, notice if this grabs an ability that would go for beasts, this card is pretty expensive when it comes to it, but it's going to have all of its beast-like potential abilities when rolling for beast abilities is going to be 31.25% cheaper. So what I need is for it to do a lookup. So we're going to do this little example. Equals the lookup, boom, search key. Again, it's going to be this. The range is once again going to be here. Index is... This time we're actually grabbing the attribute. So 4 and false. So in this case, because I have it set to 100%, it's always going to be rolling, so that'll be fine. If oops, so I need it to equals match. Oops. Match. Search key. Boom. Range. Out of here. And then what does search type mean? Find the largest value. Find the exact value. So it... Got it. I forget the exact one. If error for the value. Value if error is going to be 1. So index match column 1. Error does not exist. Error does exist, and it's 0.5. Okay, so we have our logic here. Excellent. So essentially, we just need to use this to multiply this. Times... Boom. Oh no, it spat out an error. Oh no. That should be fine, right? So we're gonna do it until we have a creature that has the air attribute. Air, there we go. So this is air, so this costs 6. The ability is going to cost 34.18. However, we don't want this to just... I can technically remove these brackets. Oh, but not these brackets. And then round up. Boom. Interesting. Oh, 36 points. Nice. This should be 78. It's weird that the other one ended up... Why is it rounding up to 128? Let's make this a little bigger. Okay. Why? Why are you throwing out an error now? Formula parse. You're a formula parse. Oops. Let's go to something that's over 100% or 100 points. That's pretty expensive there. Yeah, 89. $135. 37. Where's your math? This is where I almost need to just... Yeah, so that's for the entire... The entirety of that. Why are you formula parsing error? I just put parentheses around that. That shouldn't be the problem. Why though? But why though? I mean, it doesn't matter too much here, but I think I gotta get rid of this round up. Why are you like this? All right. 89. 89.89. Round up. Places to 0. 125. We're gonna fully encapsulate all of this. That should hopefully fix it. I don't know. I need something that costs a lot. 94, 95 points, that's fine. 114, 116. Okay, well, it's not the end of the world, okay? I think at this point I'm just gonna give up and go back to playing Polytopia. Alright. So I want this to cost points. Hey, look, so it has one attribute of air, so it costs 42 points. So this would be, like, this card would be essentially useless in for the description of how the game works. But technically it's valid. So... Inserts one to the right. Equals if this is less than or equal to this. You know what? That's it. That's all I need. Value of true. True. False. Oh, control enter. Why'd they change it? It used to just be tab. Oh well. If this is less than or equal to this, this, else 0. Okay. Plus this. Boom. All right. This way, we also get how much it costs for our abilities. We can just completely clear that out because there's no reason for me to have 2 if statements. I'm gonna find one that has air. Perfect. So in this case, it costs 28 points for it to get the flying keyword, which is quite a bit. So, which is fine. I like that. That's good. That's good. I want cards to reflect their attributes as best as possible. However, and as things go on, there's going to be more keywords available. Why do I hear a train? Is it like really humid outside or something? My goodness. Alrighty. And then this keyword or description. So, the reason why we're going to be doing these that's not how that works. Because no, it's fine. We're gonna add another one to the right. We'll see if that's actually be useful. Equals v lookup. Search key is going to be that in this entire group. Not again. Index is going to be 3. And then false. If. And then I'm going to be using the exact same logic for this one over here. Why? Lovely. Alright, let's get this fixed. V lookup, attributes. We're going to add our dollar signs to these. Same thing here. B6. That needs to say the exact same regardless. If error for these match, again, these need to be the exact same. Nope, don't like this one. Remove. Don't like this. Who is contacting me at 9? Hey! It is my mother. You always respond to your mothers when you get the chance. Alright. Copy. Paste. So, in this case, it's trying to re-roll the exact same keyword over and over and over again, and it is failing to do so. Because, at least in my head, when it comes to logic for, like, card design, I wouldn't want a creature that doesn't have the air attribute to fly. The only exception we're going to be having, I think, is humans. Because humans have a secret ability that all abilities are cheaper. Should that include keywords, though? Maybe not. Maybe I want humans to have more... maybe not for keywords, because it would... Maybe. I don't know. Like in this case, Beast 6... There we go. Air 2. Display card abilities, maybe add flavor text. So it now knows... Boom. Why? What's going on here? Circular dependency has been activated. File settings. Hey, look, it's fine. Why? Yeah, this is clearly wrong. So, I need to fix this logic. So... I'm gonna put this at 0. And then... that should be a little bit better, right? Boom, paste. All right, let's get an air creature. Again, that doesn't work. That needs to stay the exact same. So we need to fix our logic a little bit better. If it adds an ability... if it adds the ability... we're gonna... one to the right. Success. Check. I'm gonna put fail question mark. Right. We're gonna add our if statement here. If this is greater than this, so false, else true. You don't have a circular dependency. Well, I guess it technically does. So... how do I make it to where this is not a circular dependency? Because if it's an ability, it's going to try to add an ability. You know what? We're going to do add this as add, because... valid? Question mark. If it is greater than that, then it is not valid. Is not a valid ability. So this, regardless, is always going to be 0. Equals if this is true. So if the one above it is true, add this plus this, else just this. Copy. Paste. Alright, there we go. So we have successfully fixed it because... yeah. If there's only 1 point left, I don't think there's any point in us trying for an ability, but I could be wrong. So in this case, we now have... total keywords. Or insert one to the right, insert one to the right. Total description. Total ability. Equals concatenate is gonna be equals concatenate string one, this one here plus the one above. Wrong. I forget. It is... oh no, concatenate would do it. Equals... so this one's just going to equal that. We're not going to autofill. Equals... if this does not equal empty, concatenate this with that. Let's do that. Copy. Paste. So this is mostly just adding more things for us in the future. Total keywords. Card. Text. One to the right. Equals. Concatenate. This. If this does not equal blank, but I also need to do an and here, and this does not equal blank, concatenate the two. Let's just make it blank. Copy. Paste. equals v lookup zero s ak 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There's probably a more efficient way to do this. Oh, and false. Perfect. So need to add flavor text. If we get a creature with air, awesome, it immediately failed. Why did it fail? Oh, because... So that equals that. Else just AG3. Copy. Paste. Yeah, that'll do it. Alright, let us get another creature with air. That has air. Oh. Try this again. Paste. Hey! Now they all have flying. The card text is wrong. How about we make that or? Alrighty, so this should be... Oh, goodness. $19? How about 20? Reference? Okay. 19. I had the number wrong. Apparently I miscounted. Alright, cool. Well, this card is absolutely terrible, but it would be a 30-60 with flying. So if we add only a 10% chance. So notice... Even this one, because it would be reducing the cost by a solid 70%. But by the time it gets to the point where it would add an ability... right down here... This is a perfect example of what the heck. It's a cheap creature, so... This is a perfect example of it should have cost less, because it should not be costing 34. It should be costing clear this out. 33 times 0.7142 857. It should cost 23 points, which in this case it would still be too expensive because it has only 19 points left to spend on stats and abilities. So it's valid for it to not have enough points. But the cost is still wrong. So we're just gonna 100% it again. And try to figure out. Okay, well in this case it's correct. I need it to tie. Okay, so oh, did not find question mark in feed lookup evaluation. Oh, right, because okay, so in this case it's still fine, right? Because I'm not just grabbing this. Oh no, we are. Where is the... I need to change this. We need to fix that. AD2. Yeah, because that is 100% wrong. Needs to be this one right here. So 82 with the attributes here. We're going to lock in place. Copy. Paste. All right, so it should be 83% cheaper. So yeah, 35. Yeah, 41, 35. Much better. Much better. However, you know, in this case, it barely has any correlation in relation to the air attribute, so it's not going to make the air abilities cost that much less. So in this case, we don't get flying. That's a shame. Here, let me open up my binder. And we're just gonna add them for all of them really fast. So keyword! Right. Human keyword is mastery of, and I'm just gonna put type. Attribute is human. The because essentially, at least with the current keyword I have, mastery of type, double the damage versus a certain type, because I want there to be a way for you to have cards that counter other certain cards. At least it makes sense to me. Scroll lock is on for some reason. Gosh, this is a very complicated. This one would be very complicated to actually determine what the cost would be. Because I would need this to effectively double the... Well, not double. It's not going to be doubling the attack, but it would be boosting the cost by 50% of current attack. Which, as the attack increases, so would the cost. So... for now, I'm just going to say that this is going to cost a flat 10 just for testing purposes. Boom. Alrighty, so... text is NA. What do you mean, NA? Ah. This adds the mastery of, because it's a flat, because it's a flat cost. Right. Did not find value 1 in V, look up evaluation. That should be better. Mastery of type. Mastery of type. So... the... How's it going, Cholito? Master of the If that is not equal to blank, then concatenate the two, else AG3. Awesome. It's good to hear. Kind of been having a little headache most of the day. Mastery. That's a lot of mastery of types. How many times did it add? Oh my goodness. Alright. Well, that's good for now on that. Let's just continue to fill in the rest of these. Everything I will continue to say this. Everything you see is canon, will be subject to change. Ambush. If attacking while face down, the enemy does not counterattack, can attack underlying cards. But what do I make the cost? I will have to figure out a better cost system for that. Ambush, we're going to say it's going to cost 25%. Alrighty. Swarm. So I want anything to have access to the swarm ability, but I want insects to primarily be the big focus of having this swarm ability. So we're just going to say 50% for now. Plant is resourceful. Can tap for energy. Gonna make that cost 75. Decay. Decay's probably not gonna stay. Yeah, it's probably not going to stay, so we're going to make Decay only for undead, at least for now, because with the way I currently have this system set up, Decay is intended to make something like powerful, but it comes with a cost, so it would actually give the card more points. But I don't know how I would do that, because I really don't want every card to suddenly have Decay. Combust. Upon destroying a target, excess damage is divided between adjacent targets. We're gonna make that cost like 70%. Oh, ambush. You know what? Because I'd rather... There we go. Ooh. 9 cost with Swarm? Wow, that eats up a lot of its points. Cool. Alright, water is submerge. It's like flying, but instead of not being able to be attacked, it can't be targeted. Submerge. We're gonna also make that cost 101. As basically, if it costs 101, then it's intended to only have that if it is partially, in this case, water. Bolt. 50. Of course, we have air, and then earth, which is sturdy. Which is gonna... cost like 80. So in this case, like this 1 cost fire beast, it's a 50-20 that has flavor text. This 3 cost undead has ambush, so it doesn't get counterattacked when it attacks, and it's a 40-20, which is pretty good, but unfortunately because it's an undead and not a beast, it's a lot weaker than what a beast would be. Whereas in this case, well, this is a 7 cost water fire. It also has ambush. A 3 cost fire creature with swarm. A 0 cost fire air with ambush, so very, very low on its stat line. A 4 cost insect with bolt. What if we make everything a 1% chance? So, like, look at this case. Electric, it has bolt. Oh, and it got bolts pretty early on. And... card pack. We're gonna make this 2, so that way there's a chance for things to have, like, more than one ability. But every single time it attempts to roll an ability, it's gonna decrease the chance of it getting abilities. So that way, it eventually, all the cards will always be properly statted out. A 0 cost human with combust, but has 0 attack. That is hilarious. I mean, it'd be cool if it can destroy something. The issue is it does 0 damage. So you'd have to find a way to boost this card's stats before it gets used of its combustibility. But in most cases, it's pretty useless. Now this card, it did try to roll for sturdy, but at this point, it would cost too much. A 6 cost fire beast that attacks with fire that has the combustibility. Okay. So 10 cost fire creature with resourceful. Yeah, that's very useless, which is unfortunate. But we're able to see the entire process as it tries to work out. So this high roll says, okay, well, we're gonna give it a keyword, we're gonna give it an ability, we're gonna randomly give it a keyword, and the keyword we're giving it is Swarm. So this is a beast with Swarm. This doesn't break anything, does it? If I delete that? Awesome. So like over here, the ability it tried giving it would cost 119. This one would have cost it 94. But I don't want it to suddenly be on like card pack 10 and where... Well, I guess by that point, by pack 10, more things would be technically having abilities. I want to see something get multiple abilities. A water creature with Combust. An 8-cost water with Combust is pretty useless, which is unfortunate. This is an electric air beast with Mastery of Type. And I don't know what the type is, but basically it'll deal double damage against whatever that type is. So it could be very good, especially if it was, since that was an electric creature, if it was a Mastery of Water, it would absolutely destroy water creatures. Would be awesome there. But am I okay with this? Zero attack creature that Combust. Fantastic. 1-cost plant with Ambush. That also has 0 attack. Awesome. Amazing. Yeah, these are keywords, so... I need to make sure that we have a way to be boosting creatures. Now, I don't think I want the creature boosting stuff to specifically be for whatever it is. For that type, so... Dang! I guess it is a rare creature, so... A 9-cost electric water undead with a bolt ability. Now, since it's electric, and it has 9, it's reducing it, the cost of the ability by 64%, which is a lot. So when it rolls this bolt ability, it's only trying to make it cost 25 points. So... what I essentially need is to make sure that if so let's say that it rolls the bolt ability multiple times, right? So let's just get rid of... I need something that costs really cheap, like Mastery of. So we're gonna... We'll go with Bolt, because Bolt is cheap. Because we're not trying to give it Bolt multiple times. So right over here, bolt, bolt, bolt. does absolutely nothing. Pretty much, if my goal is, except for like mastery of type, because I'm okay with like mastery of beast, mastery of air, both being on a single card, so that way one card could be really strong against multiple other cards. But in this case, saying, hey, this thing can move as soon as it's played, this thing can move as soon as it's played, like, this is redundant, and all it's doing is making a card worse for no good reason at all. So, I need a check of... So this one is... Grab that. If... Space. Alright. If... And we're just going to close this out. There is a match. And the search key is going to be... this. Copy. Paste. So, if there's a match there, then no ability is added. Else... add it. And then the range needs to be... in this case, that. Search type needs to be exact. Copy, paste. However, this one is going to be AG2 through AG3, but AG2 is going to stay exactly where it is. But then this is just AG, goes down as far as it needs to. If error. Value if error. False. Copy, paste. But we're just gonna do this range. $sign. Copy. Paste. So this should be, yep, everything above it. So notice, even though, let us get a much better statted electric creature. If so here's how we're going to do this. If this does not equal this, because at this point, it doesn't add us any more points, so stop trying. Boom, boom, boom. Excellent. So, just like on this one here, which is a perfect example of, it would have added it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Attempted 6, but the 6 would have failed. So this would have had bolts 5 times, but it only has it once, and it is still appropriately statted. Much better. So I can re-enable all these just for... That's a very sturdy undead, but it only has 10 health, so it's pretty bad. Am I okay with there being bad cards like that? And I think, at least for right now, the answer, of course, would be yes. I will have to tweak everything so it is a little bit more smarter about Mastery of Type. So the Mastery of Type ability is fully intended to allow... oh, wow. Cards to be in a way to counter a different card attribute without fully having to focus on the combat circle. Like, so card pack 1, almost nothing is going to be having abilities. That is going to be fully intended. So, like, that's 1, but it costs 10 and it has ambush. Three, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, it's still adding them somewhat reliably. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Interesting. So, what this is telling me is I probably want to have an even further reduced chance of getting card abilities. Because I don't want, like, 1 in 5 to have card abilities. That is not the goal. At the start, I would want maybe 10%. But it's like that is an earth insect with bolts. Because all the way down here. But why? Oh, because it's 50. So, we're just gonna make all these just cost a lot more. It's because these don't cost enough. Like, Swarm. I can almost just say, like, all of these, that I would want them to specifically have that. Right? Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. It's an earth creature with sturdy. And this one is not dying. Yes. Because, yeah, it only costs 34 of its 107 points. So it still gets to use most of its points to boost its stats, which is good. Six. But like on card pack 10, this water creature has Submerge. This earth thing has Sturdy. This one broke. Why'd you break? That is hilarious. I ain't gonna worry about it. This is just for testing stuff. Less than or is greater than or equal to, right? Yep, that's how we fix it. We just boom. So if they're equal now, don't add it. I'd rather just solve it like that, so that way I don't deal with that ever again. Mastery of type and submerge, though for a 10 cost thing, that's pretty bad. Unless, no, it's still just pretty bad. But anywho, so the submerge ability cost... Yeah, like, look at all these abilities it's attempting to add, but it can't, because they're just the wrong abilities. It's trying to add Mastery of Type multiple times. That's funny. But yeah, so... we're gonna add another if check. So we're gonna go space. If this mass equals mass, and we're actually just going to say if it is equal to that, concatenate mastery of boom, and then we're going to v lookup. Search key is going to be rand between 1 and max between these. So that's the V lookup. That number from this range with an index of 3, and it is false in the order Mastery of Elements. That should do it, right? Dang. Boom. Copy. That should be fine, right? Mastery of insect, mastery of electric, mastery of air. Awesome. But we failed. Because we messed this part up. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Copy. This is wrong. Boom. Mastery of fire, mastery of type. Hooray! Got it wrong again. Where did I mess it up this time? Oops, not 1,000. 100. Did it happen again? Alright, so what's going on here? Why are you adding an additional mastery of type here? So why are we checking for things on the second level? Oh. Okay, so... it is correctly rolling for Mastery of Plant. Swarm. Swarm. Right. Delete this. Why are you doing this? It successfully gets Mastery of Fire. So if this entire thing ends up equaling Mastery of Type, that's fine. That's when I need it to re-roll it to Mastery of a different attribute. If that equals Mastery of Fire, then Mastery of a type, then return it to a Mastery of specific type, else just whatever that's supposed to be, return it as that. I don't see... what is wrong with this logic. It's definitely something else with this if error. I see. So what I actually need to do is so here's the thing. Because it's not going to be able to grab the same exact random number. So we're going to insert one column to the left. Equals... Here. That's fine. Perfect. All right, so... What do you mean there was a problem? All right, delete everything and then undo. Just that. This way, it's able to grab the exact same one. Copy. Because I need the logic to persist between our if statements. So if there's an error, if on this if statement if that equals that, that should do it. We need to step up and stretch for a moment. Where's my logic going wrong? My logic's clearly going wrong somewhere. So it's this specifically rolled Mastery of Earth here. Awesome. Amazing. Wow. Such wow. This if statement. Right. So, if it's the same, then do that. But for now, just add... No. Oh no, it broke it! Because it's forgetting what I'm actually... If... that... Why are you not working? If... Alright, let's see if we break something. We're broken? We're broken? Nope. Yep. Where'd it break? Combust, combust. We're gonna turn off the... This Mastery of Logic is, for some reason, being way harder than it should be. Just grab a random element. Yep. So this is Mastery of Earth. It's because it's the exception. I think I understand what's going on. Alright, let's try this again. So we're just going to add this if... Remember, your code is only as smart as you are. So if you're dumb, like forgetting to switch this to be pointing to the correct stuff, then you're going to get the dumb results. Garbage in, garbage out. This should not be that. All right, Mastery of Earth, Mastery of Air. This is currently working just fine, but what I'm worried about is, let's go ahead and roll up a human really fast, shall we? Human! What do we got here? Mastery of Insect, and look at that. Not working. Why? Because we haven't added this logic here yet. Copy. So I need it at the end of this. That should do it, right? Copy. Paste. All right. So it tried. Oh, but it didn't have enough points. Let's roll up another human. I could also just remove the other types, but... more levels of human. Perfect. Look at that. Mastery of Undead, Mastery of Insects, Mastery of Beast, Mastery of Water. It tries here, but it doesn't have enough points. Wow. Amazing. Try again. Human 4. 12 points doesn't work. That's hilarious. Human 7. Boom. So it tries to add it here, but it already had Mastery of Humans. So it said, not today. Perfect. Then we can add every other keyword. So we can now get things with O and Y's. Our overall text no longer working. Right, it's because we added another one, so this actually needs to be at 20 now. Boom. Yep. This is also what happens when you set it to 100% on ability generation. Is your cards now no longer have stats? So we put this at 10. This is a lot more reasonable. Mastery of Electric. Mastery of Beast. Add flavor text. More flavor text. Extra flavor text. Flavor text. Bolt Mastery of Undead. Cool. Which would not be that great, but... A fire creature with Submerge. Because it has a little bit of water added to it. Alrighty. Well, that at least covers keywords, or at least the logic of that. Mastery of human and flying. So this should... a flying creature that can destroy humans, in theory. Mastery of air. Submerge, submerge. Right. Do you know what we completely forgot to fix? Match. Where's our match? What dollars? Dollars. Copy. Paste. Perfect. Flavor text. Oh, card points should also plus whatever card pack we're currently on. So that way, very, very slowly, there's going to be a little bit of power creep, but that's okay. So this is a beast with beast insect with mastery of fire. Dang. This would actually be a pretty strong card. Oh, it's a legendary. Okay. Yeah, so depending on the rarity of a card also helps determine how many points that card has to spend. So uncommon, so like a card cost 1 uncommon is going to be roughly just as strong, give or take, as a card cost 2 common. Same thing with a rare, where card cost 1 rare is going to be at the same power level of a card cost 2 uncommon. But legendaries are much, much stronger, and that's of course intended, because the legendaries are supposed to be the chase cards, where you go, oh, this is the card I want. Everybody wants it, but eventually you really just want whatever's going to be best for your deck. And these legendaries are going to be a lot rarer to find. So if we see these are the current odds of finding each card in the boost and the packs, you know, and theoretically. So it's a 1 in 40 chance of getting a legendary, which is very unlikely. But like in this case, you can see your rarity here. It's a 9-cost common card with absolutely no abilities. A 1-cost undead with absolutely no abilities. This is a fire air creature that has 2010, so a lot weaker than that undead that you had seen, but it can't be hit by that undead, so it's always going to be able to fly over and do what you want it to do much safer. So the more alignment it has to a certain attribute, the stronger it's going to be whenever it has those extra abilities. So like, if that was not a fire and an air creature, it would have been even stronger as if it was just a pure air creature with those stats. Yeah, like for instance, Air 5. It costs 5, so it costs a lot more. It has Mastery of Electric, so interesting. So yeah, it does 30% more damage versus water. Double damage. On top of that, it's going to do double damage versus electric creatures because of Mastery of Electric. And it's also going to do 50% more damage versus Earth creatures. So, like, it's pretty strong. When we start including the extra abilities such as prefixes and suffixes of cards having more random abilities, because notice these are just keywords that I've added. These are not actual abilities. These are just your, hey, this thing, this is a beast, this is an 8-cost beast plant that taps for a specific resource, like that taps for energy of whatever. So it taps for more whatever my energy system's gonna be. I'm considering calling it Life Force. I don't know. Because I also don't want to be there. I'd have to look to see about the if energy is like a coined phrase for Pokemon. I don't think it is because it's too generic of a term, but I'd have to look it up. Card cost 7. Undead with Decay. I'll figure out Decay. Decay is supposed to... So... Because if I'm not careful, if I just give it a flat negative percent thing, what's going to end up happening is every card is going to attempt to give it Decay, because Decay is, at least with the way I have it written down, is at the start of your turn, you have to discard a card or you have to sacrifice a creature with Decay. Which, it's supposed to be very, very... It's supposed to make it to where the card costs more over time. Sort of like there's a mechanic done in Magic the Gathering, now that I think about it. And the mechanic's honestly pretty bad, but in theory, when you have cards with this sort of offset, it needs to be more powerful in order to offset said thing. What I'm probably gonna end up having to do, because if we go to card pack 100, every single card is gonna end up just having a whole bunch of keywords, and then that's mostly gonna be it, and then there's still gonna be really weak stat. Like, this card cost is 10. Sure, it's a common, but it has Mastery of Human and Decay. And it has absolutely nothing. Despite having 224 points for card stuff, this card's absolutely terrible. Submerge, Mastery of Air, like... Mastery of Fire, Mastery of Undead, Mastery of Air. Mastery of Air, Mastery of Plant, Mastery of Beast, Mastery of... Mastery of Fire. Okay. Mastery of Human. Just because it's a human, it has mastery of a whole bunch of elements. And it's card cost too, so it does a lot of damage versus a lot of attributes, but could be better. But that, like, on card pack 100, I'm not really wanting everything to be just super loaded with keywords. That's not the goal. But card pack 1, it should be very rare for any cards to have any form of text or ability, whereas like card pack 10, maybe more than half the cards should start having abilities at this point. So this is of course, all this is work in progress, and everything you're seeing here is subject to change. But more or less, this is my current system for generating a random card. And this is just the stats. Legendary. Uncommon. Common. Common. Uncommon. Uncommon. Add flavor text. See, like, this is a very good flyer. 30-50 flying because it's very focused on air. Pretty good. Whereas you get... Well, this one has Mastery of Human, so... This air water creature just destroys humans. Maybe we'll make it 50 here. Minimum. We'll make it minimum 40%. Yeah, so once you start including these Mastery of Blank abilities, you can start having specific cards counter other archetypes, which is a thing that we're looking for. So, or at least that I am attempting to do. Yeah. And then if I make it to where this is gonna also go for like actions or spells, I don't know what I'm gonna call it. Because I want basically 3 kinds of cards where we are going to be having our creatures, we're going to be having our relics, our artifacts, our objects, locations. It could be a lot of different things. My goal is every single attribute, every single attribute should have its own little theme. So when everything is fully unlocked, all the cards are going to be very random, but you will definitely have cards that are hopefully... You can already start to see it where, in this case, I 100% pushed it. It's 101% for everything, so we are not getting something with decay unless it has some undead in it, which is... that's fine. In this case, submerged, so this beast can dive underwater. How neat. Which means that... hold on, so what does that mean? Or at least, currently on paper, what does it mean? Lightning. Cannot be targeted by abilities while submerged. Cannot be attacked by flying creatures while submerged. Must use a movement to submerge or unsubmerge. So, basically it makes it to where a creature is considered underwater and can't be targeted by spells or abilities. Whereas flying creatures can't be attacked. But I don't want flying creatures to just have full reign and power over everything. Now, you can argue that flying creature, like birds, catch fish, even though the fish are submerged. But typically those fish are all the way near the top of the water whenever they go to do that. Not all the way, but very, very close to there. So I would consider those as unsubmerged fish. And I could end up making a mechanic specifically to counter submerged, like ranged attacks to specifically counter air, where, okay, if air is a problem, then make it to where stuff with a certain ability can also target things in the air, like if they're ranged. Makes sense to me. This air, that costs 3. So, wow, this one, so... the other thing that I will be keeping an eye on as I am considering all this is hybrid cards. Like, this is a plain air card. So, it is very much a very well statted air creature with flying. Whereas this is a human air that ended up not rolling it at all. That's a shame. That would have been perfect for it to say that. Mastery of Electric. Oh, this air water. So this would do 20% more damage, and then double damage. So this is technically 240% more damage versus... oh wait, no. It's a water, so actually it's not. Yeah, but it still does good in the combat wheel. Eventually, I'm gonna be just using this to generate a list of cards really quickly, and then write them on paper and test this game on paper. Electric water plants with Bolt. Fantastic. So Bolt means that it can... let's see. Can attack after moving. Because essentially... there's going to be 3 different zones. And you need to move creatures forward to the front zone in order to start attacking your opponent. But you also have 2... like, you have a middle row and a back row. So that way... your creatures more or less can be defending each other. So your precious stuff you can have in the back, you have stuff in the middle to protect the stuff in the back, and then you have stuff in the front row in order to attack the enemy. A human electric that has Bolt. It's okay statted. Alrighty. It's getting pretty late. I was gonna get up, get something to drink, and then maybe play a game, but with how late it currently is... TCG Card Shop Simulator has an update? Hold on. Early access build. Workers now pick box. Thank you. That frustrated me. And yeah. And of course I'm yawning into the microphone, so I'm tired. I don't have time to do anything else. Thank you all so much for tuning on in to just me randomly play spreadsheets. Goodbye.